Before I start this video, I gotta let y'all know how much of a Drake fan I am. I can remember sitting in a house with no water and no electricity, thinking to myself that Drake's album, Views from the Six, saved my life. But with that being said, I gotta tell the truth. Drake will never be the same after this battle. And this is where he fucked up.
Motherfuck the big three, nigga, it's just big me, nigga, boom.
He should have never responded to like that. He should have never engaged. And as we continue this video, we're going to go back and say in the histories of hip hop that Drake should have just left the shit alone. Because if he didn't respond, none of this would have happened. All of this could have been avoided. Nobody would have judged Drake harshly if he ignored like that. People would have said, you know what? He bigger than Drake. Kendrick is just trying to, get some steam. He about to drop an album. We thought that Drake baited Kendrick. When looking back, I'm thinking Kendrick baited Drake. He knew what he was coming with. He knew what he wanted to do. And if Drake would have just let it go, we would not be here now. But Drake couldn't help himself. The nigga running around with nail polish and barrettes in his hair. He thought he was on top of the fucking world. But his second mistake was underestimating Kendrick. And this is where the underestimation really started, because we don't trust you and we still don't trust you. When I look back, this shit was a distraction. This was to get Drake to lose sight. Let's go through a few of these names, right? We gonna start with Future on We Still Don't Trust You. Listen to these lyrics. Look how Future is talking. You a nigga #1 fan, dog, sneak dissing. I don't understand, dog. Pillow talking, acting like a fed, dog. I don't need another fake friend, dog. Can't be by the hoe, cause we sharing, dog. Drake is losing sight. He thinking niggas coming at him just about females. And look, granted, I think a lot of these niggas are jealous or mad at Drake over some bitches. But we still have to understand that Kendrick is in the back waiting and plotting. And Drake is getting caught up on bullshit like this. Nav is not on this graph, but we gotta address Nav. When Nav unfollowed Drake from Instagram, and that was like the beacon that started getting these niggas to come together like they the Avengers and Drake is Thanos. But once again, a fucking distraction to keep Drake off of the prize. Rick Ross pops in. But the J. Cole apology, Jesus. This is when Drake should have knew it was some shit in the game. Cause looking back, I 100,000% think that nigga K. Dot, he sent a text to that nigga J. Cole and said, nigga, stand out the way. Cause when I come, I'm not sparing anybody. Nobody is off fucking limits. Women, family, children. That nigga didn't give a fuck. And J. Cole backed away. Trying to disguise it like, oh, I got respect for these niggas. I don't want to go too far with it. Drake should have knew. These niggas just got my best ally to back down. My other lieutenant, Future, he's switching sides. 21 Savage is so far up in Lotto's ass, we ain't seen his ass in 2-3 months. They isolated Drake. Drake started seeing red, and once again, he wasn't seeing the big picture. And before we get into the big picture, I just want to do this real quick for Metro Boomin.
Metro, shut your whole ass up and make some drums, nigga. Yeah.
So this is where Drake starts falling into the trap. The beef begins. Drake is in the lead. He done dropped 2 tracks. He feeling good after Push-Ups and Tailor Made. He got Snoop and Tupac breaking down the fucking psychology of what Kendrick must be feeling like and how he needs to defend the West Coast. And goddamn, did the nigga defend the West Coast when he came back, right? I mean, shit. Everybody in LA is rocking to that motherfucker Not Like Us right now. Ain't they? But anyway, we in the past right now. Drake can drop 2 records. He looking at Kendrick like, yeah, this nigga not about to respond. Meanwhile, not realizing that he has bit the bait. He bit the fucking bait. And next thing you know,
Like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. You gon'
nigga, Euphoria was just the beginning. This was just a fucking teaser to what was gonna come next. And I think Drake knew what was coming. He knew that Kendrick would lean into, see, this is the thing. This is the big thing. This is what Drake lost sight of. He knew Kendrick would take that creep angle. But the 20v1, the distractions from Rick Ross, Future, and all this other shit going on surrounding the beef, because he had more shit to juggle than just Kendrick. This nigga Drake didn't realize that no matter what he says about Kendrick, no matter how Kendrick says whatever he had to say about Millie Bobby and Drake being a weirdo and a creep and a pedo, that once a nigga put that on your jacket and you already have shit that's around you that looks funny, it was a tough spot to be in. And no matter what Drake said, he wasn't rubbing that shit off.
son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think niggas like him should die.
Even though niggas have moved on to Not Like Us, and that's the basically back-to-back record in this whole beef. That's the record that's got the club jumping. What he said in Meet the Grams and throughout this whole beef about the Euphoria shit and Drake being a producer on that show and the Millie Bobby shit and the embassy gonna get raided and LeBron and Curry, keep your kids. That is going to stain Drake for the rest of his career. Nobody cares if it's not true. People are going to be looking at Drake like a weirdo. And I think that's why we're giving this shit to Kendrick. Because when you look back on this beef, people focus more on that than the shit Drake said about Kendrick and his allegations. You got to really think about it. Drake forgot that certain allegations have legs forever. He didn't know how far this shit was gonna go. He didn't think about the memes. Sir, we found your second child. He didn't think about how many motherfuckers just don't like him and how these people are going to perpetuate these accusations for a very fucking long time. And it don't fucking matter what he said about Kendrick allegedly putting his hands on this girl. When you look back and you think about the beef and when you think about who was embarrassed the most, it's Drake. Because the things that were said about Drake have more credence. They're more cemented in the truth. I'm not saying that it's true, but let's just compare the evidence, right? Here's the shit about Kendrick. So years ago, Kendrick did an interview where he spoke about these allegations with The Breakfast Club.
When they said you were in Vegas and you beat some guy bloody and you did something to some female, and they said they had evidence and all of this, and then
They said they had evidence. And look what Kendrick says.
I never heard anything about it again.
Yeah, because it's foolishness.
Now compare that to the Drake allegations where this video that everybody keeps talking about, it just looks weird. I'm going to play it.
Y'all gonna have me getting carried away again. I get in trouble for shit like this. How old are you? Oh, don't say.
She said I'm 17. continues to say, "Why you look like that, you thick."
Look at all this.
Now, it's a full version of this video out there, but I'm trying to avoid any type of copyrights because they playing music in the background. But I'm going to let y'all know what Drake did after that. After the girl told him she was 17, he continued to say that her body felt good against his chest. I think he specifically said her breast. Then he walked up on her, kissed her on both cheeks, then kissed her on the forehead, if I'm not mistaken, and then kissed her on the lips. And this is why everybody is saying, nigga, you kissed a 17-year-old girl on stage. Now, I think he was in his 20s when this happened. I'm hearing he was 26. She was 17. And like I said, unfortunately, the shit about Kendrick is not really a lot of evidence. All of these allegations about Drake, you got shit like this. You got the Millie Bobby situation. Unfortunately, people are going to look at Drake differently for the rest of his career. Girls are going to have that in the back of their mind when they link with him. And not to mention, did the Heart Part 6 do him any favors? Because I specifically remember Wack telling this nigga, do not address the allegations.
I got this thing, bro. I never entertain a lie. Unless the lie is a charge, then my legal will entertain it. Because if you entertain a lie, then you give the lie life.
But I hope Drake doesn't get caught up in being on the defense trying to explain all of that.
Even now, people are breaking down lyrics to the Heart Part 6 and saying, nigga, what you mean? If you was really doing it, you would go to jail. You sound guilty. Everything he said to address what Kendrick was saying, people are using against him. I think he did exactly what Wack said. He entertained a lie and he gave it more life. And even academics said this is going to affect him in the future. Of course, he's going to move differently now. Will he stop dating 20-year-olds like Lotto's sister? And look, on the flip side, even if he starts dating older chicks, you know what niggas gonna say? Oh, he just trying to beat them allegations, nigga. We ain't forgot. We ain't forgot BBL Drizzy. We ain't forgot P Drizzy. This shit is going to hurt him either way. And now after the dust has settled and the people looking at Drake like a loser and a creep and feeling like Kendrick humbled him and took him a peg down, the media is already crowning Kendrick as a winner. And this is why I don't think Kendrick is releasing any more tracks. And I feel like the best thing for Drake to do is stand down. Listen to this article from the Rolling Stone or just a piece of it. This is Rolling Stone. We know Kendrick and Drake will throw more shots, but the bulk of the war has been fought and the crown goes to Compton. They already crowning this nigga. LA been crowned him. I feel like LA crowned him when Not Like Us came out. But now the media is doing the same thing. Everybody who spoke about this beef on this Monday morning said they felt like Kendrick was still in the lead. Even after Drake came out and said, I fed all that information to Drake. Well, here's what the people feel about that. Because y'all know, we have, and when I say we, I mean y'all and me. Okay? Because without y'all, I ain't shit. We have some of the biggest polls on YouTube. So I asked y'all last night, 20 hours ago. I said after the Heart Part 6, and y'all found out that Drake was feeding Kendrick all of these lies. Do y'all give a fuck that he was spitting lies? Two options. The first option is, if the bar's not true, Kendrick lost. The second option, don't care, want good music. With 73% of the fucking vote, the people say after 22,000 votes, we don't care. We just want good music. Kendrick released faster than Drake when the battle started. He shitted on Family Matters. His talking points are being discussed more. People are not letting this Drake creep conversation go. That's why I said this is staining his legacy. He won't be able to get this off of his jacket for the rest of his life. People are going to say this about Drake. Bitches gonna be thinking this in the back of their head whenever they fuck with Drake. Look, Drake is still gonna be a billionaire. He's still gonna have a good career. But Kendrick was successful in doing something to Drake that people will never forget about. Same thing with Meek. Meek might have lost the battle, but he won the war, because till this day, even in this beef, niggas was talking about what? It's not even a fair fight, because it's Kendrick versus Drake's ghostwriters. Meek won. Really? I think that's why Meek never gave a fuck about being cool with Drake, because he knew that. Yeah, you might have won in the court of public perception with them records and back-to-back and all that shit, but nigga, forever, people are going to say you don't write your shit. And when I look back on it, especially after this beef with Kendrick, I'm thinking to myself, did Drake really win against Meek? If walking into every battle, the first thing people say or mention is ghostwriters? And then we bring it to this. Not only did Kendrick win in the court of public perception, he stained Drake's jacket for the rest of his career. So yeah, man, my GOAT will never be the same after this. Nothing was the same. Like the video and subscribe. Hey, nigga, donate. Hit the super chat. Scan the PayPal. Hit the Cash App. Thank you. Have a blessed day.